This first song, this is a song Jimmy and I wrote together. He and I both grew up. We both hit the ground in the state of Mississippi and in the mainland, and Mississippi is pretty much the 50th at everything. We almost take a little pride in it, you know. Because it's not that easy to stay below Arkansas and Alabama. Requires a touch of effort. My hometown, where I was born, it's in the northeast corner of the state, and we had 900 people when I was born, and we had one traffic light, we had one wild girl, we had one yellow page. They don't even do yellow pages anymore. And the traffic light is now gone. We have a four-way stop. The girl is still there, overworked but in generally good spirits considering. But Jimmy and I had in common the state of Mississippi in the beginning, and that's what introduced us to one another. We were both sort of storytelling songwriters from Mississippi. And he took me under his wing when I was 19 years old. Before I believed in myself, he believed in me. And I would not be here, I would not know Jake, I would not get to meet any of you after the show tonight if it weren't for Jimmy. So we're going to honor him. And this particular song, he called me. He was working on his first book. He wrote a book called Tales from Margaritaville that was a #1 New York Times bestseller, his first try out writing a book. And he had been holed up in his little hunting lodge in Georgia working on this book, and he decided he wanted to hear some music instead of just prose, and he called me to come and write a song. Sure, if Jimmy Buffett asked you to write a song, I recommend you take him up on that. I went over there, and he said, I want to write a song about one of the characters in my book. I said, well, I don't know anything about your book. He said, doesn't matter, play a D chord. So I did. And he took us, we talked about it for a minute, and he had a lunch place he was bragging on. He took me to this barbecue place called JB's he was fond of. And they didn't have tables. We ate in the parking lot, sitting in his Jeep. And I got a barbecue sandwich and sauce running down my arm. And he's in this Jeep. It's the late 80s. They didn't have cell phones yet, but Jimmy had one of those big cumbersome car phones mounted right in the console of his Jeep, and I didn't have one of those yet, so I'm a little bit envious. And he's telling me what all it'll do. I'm just amazed that it's a phone in a car. And while he's telling me, he reaches behind him in the Jeep and he pulls out his laptop computer and he starts plugging it up to this phone. And I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm going to fax the last chapter of my book to the publisher. I said, in the parking lot of a barbecue place on a gravel road in Georgia? He goes, yeah, pretty cool, huh? It was. I was envious. I figured I better bring some game. So we went back to his front porch and I sat in the swing and I played a D chord, and he said the first line of the song. He wanted it to be about a girl in one of his short stories. He said, girl of 1,000 faces. And I said, from a long line of basket cases. Because that's how we roll. And this song came from that. I'm going to give you a little bit of insider Jimmy Buffett Coral Reefer information tonight, with your permission, ladies and gentlemen. This is Change Your Channel. Girl of 1,000 faces, from a long line of basket cases, daughter of a fortune teller, oh, the lovely Isabella, she's changing channels, crazy on her toes, she's just changing channels as she goes. Places full of beachhead sailors, fishermen and old retailers. Simple lives are so deep-seated, history will Some folks have a bird's eye view, and others haven't got a clue. Some will go and some will stay. Doesn't matter anyway, they're just changing channels. Crazy girls and boys, they keep changing channels, changing toys. Survivors of tidal waves, children of former slaves. Strange how they all behave like it's another world. There's an island in the ocean where the people stay in motion, somewhere on the old Gulf Stream. Did they live or did I dream? They were changing channels, staying on their toes. They're just changing channels as they go. Changing channels, waiting for our sails to fill. We keep changing channels, always will, always will. Singing that song quite a while back there.